was horrible.
So I was able to make it through the first few seasons in like a couple days. How about you?
That's pretty quick. It took not more time than that. I can't sit and binge as much as you can in a single sitting.
I just love looking at John Hamm. He like makes me so happy.
I mean, he is pretty good. And if you look at him, you're like, that's a good looking man. And I could look at him for a lot longer.
I could also as me. Well, also as me. Well,
also as me. Well.
I just thought it was a little weird that we were watching Madman for the podcast. Like, I thought it was...
I mean, it was your idea. You did say, hey, let's go watch Mad Men. And I'm like, I don't know if that fits within this, but John Hamm's great, and maybe he can pull it off. Maybe it'll be kind of spooky, and maybe it'll be... But I don't think it's rated poorly enough, but you were adamant. You were like, we need to watch Mad Men.
It's actually one of my favorite shows ever. I've watched it through like twice and a half now. And I didn't feel the need to finish the whole series. So anyway, we're going to talk about it though, right?
Fellas, it's me. Breaking into the door. I got breaking news. You messed it up. It's all terrible. You done a bad job. You see, you're watching Mad Men, and that's not the one. That last week, I looking back here in the documents here, I'm seeing you said Mad Man. Man from 1981.
No, but I watched Mad Men, winner of 16 Primetime Emmys.
No. You see, you got it all wrong. You're looking for Mad Men from 1981 with a score of 33% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Did it win anything?
It didn't.
Oh, but it was nominated for something.
Oh, maybe it was. You know more than me. Wait, did you watch this movie, or did you not?
I did.
Oh, okay. Well, then...
Who are you?
Should I leave, then?
Are you Isaac from the future?
It's me, Isaac from the future.
But you're from a parallel universe future where everyone talks like an announcer.
Exactly, and it's great. This is my announcer voice, but unfortunately, it's not that great because everybody talks like this. So it's not really that special anymore.
I love that universe because, like, even the saddest information, like, oh, look at you broke your toe. You're never going to recover. Oh, no, what are you doing?
Listen, son, I'm coming here to tell you got to pack up your bags. We're sending you home. You're fired.
You're fired. Oh, me and your mama, we're getting a divorce.
Son, let me tell you something. Your mom and I are getting a divorce.
For the low, low price of your fault.
Well, I'll see myself out now.
Oh, that was fun.
So we watched Mad Men. You also watched Mad Man, though, didn't you?
Yeah. Cool. I didn't actually watch Mad Men. That is what we call in the industry a joke.
A joke.
Or a bit. That is just what we call
of a joke.
Comedy. It is okay to lie.
It's the internet. It's okay to lie for content.
I'm going to tell everyone just a real quick story. So I just got home from vacation. I went to Mexico with my family and my lovely wife. And let me tell you a story. I got real sick coming home. Mm-hmm. And so this episode is hot on the tails of me being sick. So if you hear me sick, that's why, okay?
Yeah.
It's because I had the best week of my life.
Don't anybody mention it, okay?
I'm super embarrassed.
Yeah, he's super embarrassed, but he suffered the
and he's super embarrassed that he's super sick.
Oh God, it's future Derek from that same universe.
I'm super. Oh God, I'm sick. Everybody,
you're still sick even in the future?
Yeah, I mean, oh wait, yeah. Well, I thought it was just like a parallel
sick forever.
Universe.
Well, you said it's the parallel universe in the future, though. So you're sick for a while. It's like 2 days in the future. Don't worry.
So
everybody.
I thought we were watching a little Mad Men spinoff when we were watching this movie, and I kept waiting for John Hamm to show up. I was waiting for Elizabeth Moss. Neither of them were there. I was disappointed. They weren't even talking about advertising.
There was no business whatsoever. There were no suits,
which is something interesting because Mad Men,
hardly any men either.
Is got great promotional material.
It really does.
And so it's kind of ironic, right?
Unfortunately, because, you go look at Mad Men 1981's posters and stuff. Kind of cool. Kind of like
dope.
the designs.
Kind of dope. And, I think it's kind of ironic in, like, Alanis Morissette's version of ironic.
Isn't that ironic?
Isn't that ironic? Is that all you know?
Yeah, that's really it.
It's like rain on your wedding day.
Is that rain?
That's pretty good. So you're obsessed with making puppets, right?
I've dabbled. I'm dabbling.
You're
now.
like what, 5 puppets?
I think
deep?
I'm 5 puppets deep now. It all started with Count Trivia, and I have too much free time on my hands.
It's incredible.
Is the problem.
And I think that you need to make an Alanis Morissette puppet now.
Oh. Okay. Mm-hmm. What's her steez?
I don't know, but I feel like it'd be really ironic.
That's funny.
Thank you.
She's our irony puppet.
Yeah.
The Alanis irony Morissette.
Hi, it's me, Alanis Morissette.
Oh my God. Yeah,
I'm the irony
You're
puppet.
the one who's gonna puppeteer that one for sure.
Yeah.
I have all these puppets now. I feel like I need to find ways to put them onto the podcast, though. Like find ways to have.
Introduce everyone to your latest puppet.
The latest puppet. Oh yeah, no, I made a creature from the Black Lagoon puppet. This sounds like this.
Hey, that sounds like me. What the fuck?
No, you see, because it's a lot lower, and it lives down here, and I have to breathe really hard.
It's like
because
a science
I can't
gym.
breathe out of the water.
It's like
I was designed by Millicent Patrick.
Yeah, you were.
It was her birthday a couple days ago, I think.
Is that true?
I think so.
Are you gonna Google it now?
I'm gonna Google it real quick.
With
I'm
your
gonna
wet
take a sip
fingers?
of water.
So it's a creature from the Black Lagoon. Sounds a lot like Science Jim, but it's like
Not
if Science Jim
even.
got like tonsillitis and got his tonsils removed.
Yep, November
yeah.
11th was her birthday.
Wow, that's crazy.
Happy birthday, Millicent Patrick, the wonderful
Happy
creator.
birthday, Millicent
American
Patrick.
actress, makeup designer, special effects artist, and animator. She made up the head of the Gill Man from the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Is no longer alive.
Nope, she's not. A while back, I think she's when she died.
Oh yeah, she would have been 115, 110,
100 and many years.
108.
Yeah, she
would
died
have been
in
108.
98. But yeah,
108.
wonderful work from her. Anyway, yeah, I made a creature from the Black Lagoon puppet.
She only died 10 years ago?
That's
She was
weird.
98?
Wait, hold on. What was 10 years from 1998?
Wait, hold on. She was born in 1915, which is 100 years from 8 years ago.
Uh-huh.
That's math. so she was 108.
This is definitely sick brain Derek doing math for you right now. He's not wrong.
yeah, because it's 2023, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Have you? Okay, I had an existential thought the other day.
What's
this
your
is probably the
existential
cough
thought?
syrup topping.
Let's go.
Topping. So, okay, I was driving on the street,
Mm-hmm.
right, and I was watching a movie.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I was
Wait,
actually-
hold on.
No.
So you're driving and watching Derek, that's very dangerous.
No, I wasn't doing that. I was in a plane. I
Okay.
remember it was yesterday.
You
2 days ago.
said you were driving down the street. Turns out you were in a plane.
All right.
Man,
90% of the story is true. I was actually in a plane.
For
I
real in a
remember
plane,
now.
not
Yes.
driving it.
And I was watching the new movie by David Fincher. I was watching
Yes,
The Killer.
The Killer
right?
with Michael
And-
Fassbender.
which was fine. And I was watching that movie, and
Yeah.
they made a comment about like all the people that die and like how much of like a percentage of people die versus how many are born every year.
Interesting.
So it's like for every 1.1/8 person death,
Uh-huh.
there's like 4.5 people born.
Oh, shoot.
So like we're on like a barreling,
Yeah,
it's-
exactly.
Don't think about that too much. You'll
It's
get-
like The
you'll get
Office when
really fucked
Dwight's
up.
like, we need a new plague. One of those.
Exactly.
Yes.
No, really, just like that. It was like his like justification for the fact that he's like a
Killing
paid
people?
contract murderer guy.
Gotcha.
Anyway, my point of this, I kind of got into like an existential loop in
Oh,
my
no.
brain because I was like, okay, I'm only alive for like a century
Okay.
at very much.
Yeah,
right? Like I'm probably going to die when I'm like 70,
Who
80.
wants to get up to 100? Listen, do you want to live to
No.
100? I don't want to be
No.
that old,
No.
honestly.
Because like I've met people who
Who
are
are-
like 100. I think the oldest person I ever met was 101.
Ooh.
And she,
Did they have Dalmatians?
did you hear that plane?
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's kind of spooky.
I don't know if
That
that's
adds
gonna
to
show
your-
up in the-
It adds to your story, though.
I don't know if it's going to add.
It kind of sounded like an alien. I hope that comes through. If not, we sound like... Yeah, it was kind of like... But it was kind of like...
Here, Johnny Be Good, replay that.
Johnny Be Good, is he our editor now?
Yeah, because we don't have an editor.
No, it's us.
Anyway,
It's our
I
combined
was
forces. Yes.
like deep in this existential crisis because I was like, holy crap, I'm only gonna live for like maybe 80 years. That's not
Yeah.
even a full century, right?
Not that long.
Like, and so much is happening and so many people are dying and there's so many people on this plane right now. And then I started thinking about Final Destination.
Oh,
and I was
no.
like, if
That's
this
a
plane
bad
exploded,
thing to do when you're on
like,
a plane.
That's like what? I don't know how many people are on a plane. Like 120 people on a plane.
How many people can
I-
fit on a commercial airline?
I don't.
Let's
Yeah,
see.
you can Google that for me.
How
I thought about
many
googling it
people-
when I was on the plane, but airplane mode. It like restricts me for everything.
Okay. Commercial
80,
airliners
100.
come in various sizes, from small that can carry around 50 to 100.
telling a science
now?
I'm gonna be so bad.
A Boeing 737, a common narrow body airliner, typically seats between 85 to 230 passengers.
We're gonna go. I was like 120 people. I was like, this sucks because that means for every person on this plane that dies,
Yeah.
4 times that. So like what? 900 people are born.
Yeah.
But
Oof. Jeez. Is this your anecdote? Just you getting scared about how many people there are in the world?
I mean,
Getting a little crowded.
My anecdote was basically that. Of just like it's crazy that like we try so hard to like stand out in life when we're getting it's like it's the whole ugly duckling situation, right?
Yeah.
You're the one black duck amongst the like 700 white ducks.
Here's your existential crisis for the week, everybody. Go and stew
like,
on this.
Take a bunch of cough syrup and then like think about this. Because it kind of messes you up a
Want
little
to talk
bit.
about something on a lighter note?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's on a lighter note? The strike is over.
The strike is over.
We can talk about movies again.
Oh my gosh! But we're going back on strike. Do you know why
Wow.
we're going back on strike?
Why are we going
Because
back
what
on strike?
dropped today?
I believe you're talking about a trailer for the new Garfield
Yes,
movie.
that's what I'm talking about.
Big week.
Big week.
Big week is coming at us again.
Is destroying everything.
Shoving their anti-Monday propaganda down our throats with another Garfield movie.
We need to put an end to this.
The main poster that they've showed is Garfield standing next to Odie. They both look weirdly furry.
Yeah.
Like they keep doing this thing where they take 2D creations and creatures, putting them in a 3D asset and world, and then like giving them just like little fur.
Yeah.
Like high-res fur, and it looks strange.
It's a cat.
It's a cat.
It's a cat.
It just looks funny to me. And their eyes are terrifying. Go look at the poster for the new Garfield movie and look at Odie's eyeballs.
The worst thing...
They're like a human's eyes.
The worst thing about it, though, is Mr. Pratt. And we need to talk about Mr. Pratt real quick.
We need to stop this man.
He needs to be stopped. People stop writing him checks. He was great as Star-Lord. He was great as What's-His-Face on Parks and Rec.
Oh, yes,
and
absolutely.
I loved him dearly.
Yes.
And... listen, I enjoyed his performance as Mario.
Because, and spoiler alert for the Mario movie, there's a reason he doesn't sound like Mario as you know.
And I like that.
That's like they start the movie out with him and his brother Luigi doing like a commercial, and they're doing the medallion, doing the bit. Yeah. And actually, they sound surprisingly good when they're doing the
Which
accents.
is probably why I was so upset that Charlie Day and what's his name that we were just talking about? Chris Pratt. The cat
Crisp
guy.
Rat.
Crisp
is his
Rat.
name.
Yeah.
He's a crispy rat.
Mouse rat.
No, but they did really good in that. But then they're like, oh, it's just a bit for our commercial. We don't actually
Andy,
talk like that.
that's
We're
his
real
name in
people.
Parks and Rec.
Andy in Parks and Rec. There you go.
Ooh,
exactly.
I just had to stare at the ground for a second.
I kind of came back around to the Mario, but this is unacceptable. This is unacceptable.
Yeah, tilt your laptop this way.
You want to look at you want to look at Odie's terrifying eyeballs?
Those look fake.
They're
I could 3D
scary.
print those.
They're kind of scary, aren't they?
I hate Mondays. Do you see that? It is on the poster.
I told you. It is straight
right
on
there.
the poster right there. I hate
This
Mondays.
is not okay.
And listen, guys, we need you to know we need to rescue Garfield.
We do.
This is not an anti-Garfield
not Garfield's
smear
fault.
campaign.
It's
Garfield,
not.
listen, Garfield, it's not your fault.
Garfield, we're with you.
You're being puppeteered by Big Week
with
and by
Garfield.
Chris Pratt.
And Jim Davis.
Jim Davis in here with his anti-Monday propaganda coming at it again. 2023. I thought we were done.
I'm upset.
I'm
and you
angry.
can tell that I'm upset.
Can you hear?
Yeah. Look, they're even selling calendars now. They're selling Garfield calendars, and I bet you know what?
Is there a website for this? Let's
I
see
bet
just, like,
every
what do they
Monday
got?
has like an X through it, or like some sort of kooky joke about how Mondays suck. Well, listen, the only reason Monday sucks is because you hate your job, and maybe you need to find a new job. I mean, and stop blaming.
Look
Monday.
at this. Like 6 hours ago, Variety posts the Garfield movie trailer. Chris Pratt's Monday-hating cat eats lasagna and jumps off a train. Like, no, we can't be doing this.
Garfield is a cute little kitten who likes to eat Italian food, and that is what we need to focus on.
Really,
right?
Though? What's so bad about Mondays, Garfield?
I'm going to start a new restaurant, and I'm going to name it Garfredo's, and it's going to be amazing. Did you just type in Garfield.com?
Garfield.com takes me to Nickelodeon.
Well, I mean that.
Wow, there's a lot. I didn't know there was like a new Garfield cartoon that was going on.
Have you ever seen?
Anyway,
have you ever seen? There's a page on Facebook and Instagram that's like Garfield frames out of order, and it's literally just like one random frame from Garfield. And then there's also ones where it's what's his face? Jonathan. It's John, but with all of the Garfield removed.
Oh no!
So it's Garfield panels with just John.
That's weird.
And so it's like this psychopathic man like talking to himself.
Talking to nothing.
Oh, it's really
pretty good. Can we discuss for a second?
Please.
We're getting on here about how like Garfield is being puppeted by Big Week, trying to take down Mondays and put up the weekends. You know, it's great. Mondays can be great. We all know this. Why does Garfield, a cat with no job or anything to do any day of the week, why is he so down with Mondays?
Okay, can I get on my cough syrup riddle brain real quick?
Get on your cough syrup brain, because this doesn't make sense to me. He doesn't have to go to work. Why does he hate Mondays?
I think that's the joke.
Is that it?
Yeah, Garfield is you.
Is me.
You is Garfield.
So is Garfield mocking it this whole time? Is from inside, he's whistleblowing this whole thing.
He is whistleblowing the organization.
And he's
by
like, it's a joke.
Mondays.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because like imagine it's like this cat hates Mondays. What does that cat have to do? How does this cat hate Mondays? So deep down inside he's like, I hate Mondays.
And he's making fun of it.
And he's making fun of
ridiculous.
It. But what ends up happening? Everybody in the world, everybody hates Mondays.
Everyone, yeah, exactly.
And the Monday propaganda is it's over. It's done. I'm done with it.
Big Week is trying to explain this to me. I just Googled, why does Garfield hate Mondays? And the top result here says, Garfield is nothing but a lazy cat. Why does he hate Mondays so much? Which is where I'm sitting.
Yeah.
Because John, his pet human.
Yeah, it checks out.
John, his pet human.
No, that's right.
No, that's right.
No,
Garfield is in charge.
I don't understand why you're laughing.
Garfield runs this relationship.
Everyone knows that Garfield is the
Garfield wears the pants.
the owner
Absolutely.
in this relationship.
Because John, his pet human, will likely be working long hours during the week and not be able to spend the time to make his favorite meals like lasagna. I like the fact that it doesn't go the spin of like, he's going to miss John while he's at work. His friend, he wants to spend time with him. It's like, no, if he's at work, he can't make me my dinner.
Okay, so maybe he does hate Mondays.
He could.
Maybe he does hate Mondays.
It's possible. That's what Big Week is trying to push on us.
Yeah. Down with the patriarchy.
Down with the Jim Davis's agenda here. Up with Garfield.
Up with Garfield.
We need to rescue Garfield from this.
Now, listen, we had a lot of comments. We had a lot of responses to when we were like talking about shooting Jim Davis and stuff. But listen, we don't actually want to hurt Jim Davis. We want to help Jim Davis, who is dead.
Oh my
I can't remember.
Oh my God, guys.
No, I've seen that before.
I just found an awful picture. It's a very muscular Garfield in the middle of the screen with a bunch of construction equipment around him. And it just says, I love Mondays. Back on the work site. No more nagging wife.
Is Odie his wife in this situation?
Odie's got to be his wife. If John is his pet, then Odie is his wife. This is facts.
It's his pet project.
This is so funny to me. We've gone so deep. Is this our brand now?
I think Garfield. Yeah. But anyway, we're pro Garfield now. What I was saying is that it got a little out of rails. You know, I loved the fan art. I loved everyone's responses to Up with Garfield. Yes. Up with Mondays, Up with Nerds. But listen, something got askew.
Yeah,
we love Garfield as
great.
a character.
He's wonderful.
He's beautiful. We don't care for Chris Pratt
his little orange
as his
belly
mouth
and his stripes. I love that guy.
I read a bunch of Garfield comics growing up.
Yeah,
I love him a lot. What we don't like is the gun that's being pushed against Garfield's head saying you hate Mondays.
No. You got it all wrong. No one's pushing a gun to Garfield's head because that'd be crazy. They're pushing a head to they're pushing a gun to the lasagna off screen.
Oh, you're right.
They're sitting there with a gun pointing at this lasagna on a plate.
because it's Big Week and they're trying to ruin everyone's week. They're holding it over like a paper shredder. And they're like holding one sheet of lasagna at a time. Like, look at this dripping. It's like blood.
Awful.
It's like a bloody carcass. And they're like, every time he doesn't say I hate Mondays,
because it's a payment here, you know. For every I Hate Mondays that Garfield delivers to the studios, he gets lasagna.
And then right next to it is a chef who's slowly making lasagna. So either there's taking the sheet of lasagna noodle.
So they're holding the gun to the chef's head then?
Yeah. So they even take the shredded noodle and put it in the shredder.
I mean,
or they put it.
That's pretty good because like lasagna is a layered dish, right? And so they're sitting there. The chef, for every I Hate Mondays that he delivers, he puts like one more ingredient. Here's a layer of the noodles. Here's the meat.
Yeah.
Here's the sauce. Some cheese.
Will you Google real quick? I could do it, but it's funner to watch.
No. What's up?
Who is Garfield's arch nemesis?
Ooh.
I mean, it's probably not Odie.
Is it Normal?
It might be Normal. I keep thinking of Newman from Seinfeld, but that's Newman from Seinfeld.
Apparently, it's Normal.
Normal, which is, show me a picture.
Normal
and then
is a cute little gray kitty. Look at him. He's kind of adorable.
Oh, right.
Although apparently in the Garfield movie, hold on.
He looks like
is
Freddy
that?
Fazbear.
Goodness, in Garfield the movie, he looks completely different. He's got
I remember. Yeah.
chiseled jawline and this mustache. That is not the Normal that I know and love. Absolutely.
Okay, anyway,
hashtag not my Normal.
Not my Normal. Back to my riff. Our riff. Sorry.
We are riffing.
Our riff. So you got Garfield, he's on the set.
Yeah.
Right? He's doing his thing. Ha ha ha. I hate Mondays.
Yeah.
They have a little counter that's like every time he says, I hate Mondays.
Yeah.
Okay. And so the chef is there.
Yep.
He's a cartoon chef because it has to be.
It has to be.
A gun
that
to his
some
head.
kind of like Looney Tunes style world where like if they're two-dimensional, you could put him in the shredder. Yeah. So he's at risk too.
Exactly.
He's got a family he's got to feed.
He's got a family. A big Italiana family.
Yeah, exactly.
At Garfredo's.
At Garfredo's.
Anyway, so he's got all of the ingredients. You know, he's got his pasta noodles. He's got his marinara. He makes a bechamel lasagna, which is superior to the cottage cheese lasagna. I'll get off that horse,
look
though.
At him.
Anyway, he's got his mozzarella. He's got his Parmigiano Reggiano. Okay? And then he's got his pan.
Yes.
He sprays down the pan. He puts down a little sauce.
Okay,
he puts down a pasta noodle. He looks over at Garfield. Garfield goes, I hate Mondays. He nods. He nods in like approval, right? Because he's like, I'm not getting shot today. Yes. So he puts a little sauce down. But then Garfield has the chance to say he hates Mondays, but he looks scared and he doesn't say it because he works for us. He doesn't. I'm going so far with this.
We're getting Garfield back.
Yeah, we're getting Garfield back.
We're taking Garfield back from Big Week.
Big Week knows they're holding the gun to this chef's head, this poor chef, and he takes a glob of the sauce of the cheese and he feeds it to Nermal. He feeds it to Nermal instead of putting it on the lasagna. And now what's worse?
But Nermal's sitting there like covered in lasagna and he's looking bloated and sick. But he's like, please stop feeding me lasagna.
But then the worse than shredding the lasagna, you have an uneven lasagna now.
Oh.
So imagine that you have
Garfield hates an uneven
two
lasagna.
Layers of noodles. And in your brain, you're like, oh no, that's just thick noodle. No, that means that middle isn't getting cooked.
No, he's got cold in the middle.
You got to cut through it. And you got a big chewy bit. That sucks. We need to save Garfield.
Save Garfield.
Clock Tower,
#save
8 p.m.
Garfield.
Friday night. We're going to go and save Garfield.
We're going to march for Garfield with a strike. We're on strike now.
We're on strike.
Thank you, everyone, for your patience. The big strike is over. Now it's time for the bigger strike.
Now it's time for the more...
We're going to march on. Where are we going to strike to go against Big Week?
I don't know. Where did Garfield live?
How about Tuesdays? What if he hated Tuesdays? Would that be fine?
Yeah, Tuesdays don't matter to me.
That's fine, yeah. It's only the day we release the podcast.
Oh, that's true. Wait, yeah, no. Tuesdays are good. Wednesdays, though. Ooh.
Wednesdays.
I hate Wednesdays.
Hump day, you know.
Actually, I arguably hate Wednesdays more than Mondays.
Fair.
I'm going to leave it at that.
Just that? No, nothing else.
I don't really have a reason. I just like Mondays have never really bothered me.
Yeah. So anyway, the fact that Garfield is being puppeteered by Big Monday and he's forced to hate on Mondays makes me mad. It makes me a mad man.
It makes me a mad man.
It makes me a mad man.
It makes me want to get in my car and fly to Mars.
That's something.
Because if you say Madman Mars, then you remember you watched a movie and you have a podcast where you're the co-host named Derek.
Oh, and then that reminds me that I am also the co-host and my name is Isaac. And you were listening to That Was Horrorble, a podcast where we do our best at reviewing the worst in horror. And sometimes we talk for far too long
about Garfield. And I'm not going to cut any of that.
No, that's all sticks around, right?
Yeah.
That's why you guys are here, right?
That's why you're here. Please,
yeah, please.
You're not here to learn about Madman from 1981.
Someone tell us that works and that's okay for us to do.
Yeah, like... Ow, I hit my head on the microphone. This is the best episode ever that I'm not going to remember.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's going to be great. And I'll tell you all about it. It'll be fun for you to listen back to it.
I'll listen to this when it comes out and be like, wait, did I say that?
Yeah. So anyway, we were Mad Men from Mars and we watched Madman from 1981.
And don't be confused. He's not from Mars. His name is Mars with a Z.
Yeah, so there's a story, and we'll get into this more when we talk about the movie itself, whenever we actually get around to it.
We're doing that right now.
But they tell like a ghost story about this man who went mad and killed his family, blah, blah. And he's like, his name is Madman Mars. It's like, okay, question. Was his first name Madman before he went mad?
Yeah.
Or just like, so he was doomed to failure from the start?
Okay, so here's a question for you. Was he a man, but then he went crazy, so they called him Madman? Or was he mad, and then he became a man, so they called him Madman?
Okay.
But he was always Mars.
No, I feel like if that was the case, it'd be Man Mad.
Man Mad.
Yeah, Man Mad Mars.
Man Mad Mars.
Man Mad Mars.
Man, you Mad Mars?
Man, you Mad Mars?
Mad Mars. So Madman from 1981 has a Rotten Tomatoes score of 33% and an audience score of 37. That's a 4-point split.
So they're with each other. They're friends this time around.
Letterboxd score is 2.7. IMDb is 5.1. This movie had a $350,000 budget, and the box office was $1,347,000.
Oh, okay. I'm just going to stop it there. An even
1.3 million, basically.
Gotcha.
It was a movie that
sure
was. It was directed by Joe Giannone.
Sorry, one more time. One more time?
Are you trying to read that for me? Giannone. Wanyon.
Sorry. No, I'm gonna keep. You keep taking stabs at that.
Oh, I shouldn't be recording. Why didn't you let me record an episode today? We should have taken this week off.
You thought it was going to be a great idea.
I think it is a great idea still.
Oh my God! Look at the IMDb picture of who's Gary Sales.
He also wrote this movie.
He's a cute man.
So it's
like Joe Giannone or something. It's Giannone.
I bet he loves lasagna.
He probably does, and
there's no picture for him though.
He never existed.
It was written by Zhong and
Zhong. It sounds like a car is driving by. Oh, look, here he comes. Zhong.
And Gary Sales. Zhou Jiangzhong. We'll talk about him first. This is it, dude. This is all he did. This is it.
That's it. That's all he's got for us. That's all he wrote.
That's all she wrote.
Oh man.
But he was teamed with Gary Sales for writing, and he's done a decent amount of like assistant directing.
Okay.
He's never written anything else, and he's never even really produced anything else. He just kind of, he gave a hand.
Derek, that's kind of a trend with a lot of people in this movie, right? Haven't a lot of people in this movie done a lot of work?
Let's talk about that before we even start. Every single person that has a picture for this movie, which are all the adult characters, all of their pictures are from this movie except for the main girl, Betsy.
Yep. But other than that, they're all stills from this. There's a person who, spoiler alert, gets decapitated, and his picture on IMDb for his profile there is his decapitated head.
Yeah, with the exception of two of these actresses, every other person, this was their only movie.
Yes. And so that kind of shows you the kind of movie that we're dipping our toes into here today.
Yeah. I did not know that before.
Yeah.
I knew that after.
It was kind of a funny thing to realize. We realized that kind of early on. We're like, wow, okay.
Because like a couple of them look familiar.
Yeah, they have familiar faces.
And so I looked into it, and I think it's just because that one lady looked like Tilda Swinton.
That's fair. Like Tilda Swinton and a fish had a baby.
I don't feel like we should say that.
No,
it's so mean. Like, she was a pretty woman. I'm not saying she wasn't attractive. She kind of had like fish-like
attributes,
and Tilda Swinton.
Fine. Nothing says fish are ugly. A fish man. Look, let's go back to Millicent Patrick making a beautiful gill man.
That's your favorite movie of all time,
The Shape of Water.
The Shape of Fish.
Beautiful gill man.
That's the name of the movie, right? The Shape of Fish.
The Shape of Tilda Fishton
by Guillermo del
Toronto.
Thank you. This movie actually was nominated for one thing. Did you know that?
I learned that in the very beginning when we were trying to riff on it.
That was today?
That was today.
It was nominated for Best Low-Budget Film at the Saturn Awards in 1982.
Okay. What was its budget again?
$350,000. That's not a low budget in 1981.
That's a lot more money than I could put into a movie.
I wonder if that might be with inflation.
That could very well be.
But,
But still.
I get this information from various sources, and sometimes it's not the most.
Derek, where can you find these sources that you put at the for the episodes?
Are you remembering that we keep forgetting to mention that?
A little bit, I am.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone's noticed. I put like little sources, and
like hyperlinks,
little jokes in the hyperlinks. Sometimes there's jokes.
Sometimes
like
you have to go back
Humans
and find
is
them.
Bugs. I put a little joke in the sources.
Oh, cute. But yeah, if you ever want to look into our sources where we find all our shiz, then that's where you can find it.
So this movie, its box office, let's talk about that really, really quick. It took forever for them to get this movie in theaters.
Really? Yeah. I heard there was like some stuff that like made it kind of difficult.
Oh? Is that Count Trivia?
I don't know. I didn't actually put any of that in there. Count Trivia didn't either.
Well, Count Trivia.
But it made it hard. I don't know.
But anyway.
Count, fix it.
Okay. Okay, he was playing Call of Duty.
He's got nothing better to do.
Did he play the new Call of Duty? That's gross. Nobody likes those games anymore. Why did
he wants to be hip. He found some teenagers at the mall one day, and they made fun of him because he didn't know what Call of Duty was. He was gonna kill them. Actually, he's gonna like drink their blood and stuff. And then they made fun of him, and he got embarrassed and ran away. So now he's playing all of the Call of Duty games.
And he told me that they were talking about zombies, and he got excited. He thought he was going to see his old friend Gerald, and he's like, "Oh, my friend Gerald." But
Gerald G. Zombie.
Gerald G. Zombie. So basically, at the box office, it took a long time until finally it was acquired by Jensen Farley Pictures, and it was like kind of a regional premiere in different places. But then it kind of became a sleeper hit in drive-in theaters.
Really?
Yeah, that's where it kind of picked up. And over the course of between 1982 and 1983, it made $1.35 million in the drive-in circuit. So, which is kind of interesting. I think it kind of fits that drive-in vibe, though.
It really does.
You got your girl or your guy on your arm, or
I think that is like the vibe of this podcast is like drive-in movies that we're watching, right? Because I feel like some of these, I have to start thinking about them in that light. Like I would really enjoy this at a drive-in movie theater, right? I think that'd be kind of funny. You made this face, and what happened?
Oh, I just learned something, but I think Count Trivia is going to talk about it.
Yeah?
I don't like getting in the way of him.
Well, what does it say? What's it about?
Just like the practical effects that they used.
No, actually, I don't have
Okay, well, I learned something that when they exploded people with blood, it was condoms full of fake blood.
Whoa! Listen, don't neglect the power of condoms. Are you aware of the power of condoms?
No, I'm not. Please enlighten me.
That's a thing in Alien too. The xenomorph,
yeah.
Like between the jaws, like that weird
the rubber bands like on your braces.
Stuff. Yeah, exactly. That kind of stuff. They actually used condoms for Alien with a bunch of KY jelly.
Basically, all I had.
Basically, all the information.
That's so funny to me. It's like, KY, yours and mine. And xenomorphs.
And the aliens. KY jelly for him, her, and
xenomorphs.
And Zems.
Zems. That's pretty good.
He, him, she, her, Zem.
Should we read some reviews for this movie?
I think we can read some reviews. I got some pulled up here.
Let's jump in.
Yeah, let's hop in. So I'll start us out with Noel Murray from Nashville Scene, who is a top critic, with a positive review. Says, anyone compiling a supercut of the slasher genre's greatest hits would be wrong to exclude Madman's super creepy shot of the shaggy Mars silhouetted up in a tree.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a great shot.
It was a pretty good shot.
That's the poster we're using for all of our marketing materials, too.
Oh, yeah.
Check it out. Take a look.
What do you got?
Mike Massey from Gone with the Twins, with his score of 4 out of 10, says minutes after reciting spoken lines for lamentable character development, essentially indistinguishable roles are disposed of at axe point.
Ooh, I got Alan Jones here from Starburst, which I didn't think was a publication that reviewed movies, but I guess so. The candy business wasn't cracking it for them, I guess.
Open up a pack of your favorite Starburst. Also get a movie review.
Get a movie review. Yeah, it's on the inside of all the wrappers, but nobody notices because they just throw them away. So Alan Jones, with a rotten review, says, there is not one iota of originality in this depressing and insulting steal from the Friday the 13th series, with a touch of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre thrown in for good measure.
Oof. Ford Maddox Brown, also from Starburst,
what?
with his 7 out of 10 review. Yeah, says,
Crazy.
Fair enough. The dialogue is a bit cheesy and the characters aren't the most complex bunch of people you'll ever meet. Nevertheless, Madman has its stylistic accomplishment.
And again, Madman, not Mad Men. There's no John Hamm here. No, I just want to let everyone else to know. If you're sitting here waiting for us to review Mad Men and John Hamm's crazy antics that he does for advertising, what is it, marketing? I don't know. You said something.
You hadn't seen
I've never actually seen the show.
Did you know that Mad Men, Ad Men?
Ad Men.
There you go.
Ad Men. It's like Mad Men.
It's a fantastic show, though.
Is it really?
I love that genre. Can we talk about Mad Men for an hour?
I don't think we got to finish this one first. Then later, afterwards, we'll go on our spin-off where we talk about Mad Men.
That was Mad Menable.
That was Mad Menable. Are they mad? Are they angry? Is that why it's called Mad Men?
No. Well, it's just like the roaring 20s, you know.
So all men are angry and sexist.
Or 60. When was Mad Men?
I don't think it was can't be in the 20s. There's no way.
Time period. I'm so brain right now. It's the 60s.
The 60s.
I knew it was the 60s. I don't know why I said
the
20s
so confidently.
I did.
I think it's just because there's the roaring 20s. No one says the roaring 60s.
Wasn't it like the 20th century?
Yes? Question mark? Sure.
I mean, okay. The reason I like Mad Men is because of I like the representation of the 60s time period. I just really like the aesthetic, but I also hate the misogyny and all of that bullshit that happened in that era. Oh yeah.
Good.
But they show it in such a way that it's like, oh shit, this is really, really bad. And then they show also
to acknowledge that stuff. Right?
Absolutely. There is a lot of shitty things that happen in that show.
Yeah.
All 92 episodes of it. But it is one of those shows that you watch and you see the way that certain women would rise through that, and it's really awesome to see that. But it's also really horrible to see the
up
way
with
that
Mondays, up with Garfield, up with 60s women.
60s women. Yeah.
No one else though, just the ones from the 60s.
Just the ones from the 60s.
Your grandma's cool. She's up with her.
There's my nice little Mad Men plug.
Yeah. So shall we plug ourselves in our podcast that was horrible by talking about our expectations?
Did you realize that it took us a really long time to introduce the show?
Yeah, so a long time.
If anyone was listening to this for the first, say this is your first time,
they're flipping through radio stations and they pop on us, they would not know.
Why are you talking about Garfield?
Sorry, I must be in the wrong room. I was looking for the horror movie review podcast, not the talking about Garfield for an hour podcast. Garf Pod.
Let's talk about it.
I guess that podcast would just be Garfredos, right?
Garfredos.
That's our Garfield podcast.
I just love the idea of that, man. You have garlic bread that's like the Odie's garlic bread.
But it has to be fun shapes, like Garfield or Odie.
No, Odie looks like garlic bread. Have you seen Odie lately?
He's got those ears. He looks like they could be like two breadsticks.
Yeah, he kind of looks like a spaghetti squash or like Odie or not a spaghetti. Like a squash. Like yeah. Anyway, what are your expectations?
Starting us out, I thought we were in for a pretty fun time. I liked the way it was looking. I'm usually a sucker for any 1980s horror slasher films, right? So it looked like weird, campy ridiculousness, but fun as a result. So that was my general expectation. How were you feeling going into
Same.
this?
I was kind of hoping for another Dr. Giggle situation.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Fun, happy slasher.
Very strange movie. Still love it to death, though. So my first expectation was just the heart of 80s horror. After watching the trailer, I'm like, we're going to get those weird, fun kills. The music is all synth and funny, like this crazy, kooky slasher villain character. Like, I was really expecting just the epitome of 80s horror and tropes, all of that within there.
For sure. I wrote the greatest kills ever, sarcastic voice.
Oh, sarcastic voice. No, sorry, can we give that a sarcastic take then?
The greatest kills ever.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you're so right.
Holy crap. Those are going to be the best kills.
For me, on this vein, I was going to say obnoxious teen characters. Because, that's just kind of a trope that's also within the 80s movies, right? It's just obnoxious teens. So you're like, someone bring the serial killer in, please.
I was hoping for some fun synth music.
Oh, absolutely. I wrote a lackluster antagonist, but I won't dislike him. Just because the general designs of the dude, I'm like, it just looks like a guy who's kind of messed up.
Yeah.
Like, it's mostly just a dude who's doing stuff and doesn't seem like he has any kind of powers or anything like that.
For sure.
And like I liked his look well enough, and I'm like, I don't think this will make me dislike him, but I don't think he'll be a very incredible or like impressive antagonist for the movie.
Yeah. Really dumb plot.
Yep.
That's the whole
Short
expectation.
to the point. Going back to your last one, I said the music will be my favorite character.
Oh yeah, that's nice. I like that. I wrote this.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm just gonna read verbatim what I wrote.
Oh, that's right. You wrote a long one. I just so I'm far away from Derek while we're getting ready to watch this movie, and he's just typing and going. He's in a fervor. He's a man possessed. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, how long are you writing your expectations? He goes, just one.
So there's. I'm gonna read this verbatim.
Yes.
Not that much to it. It will pretty much be exactly what the trailer was. A guy comes in, kills whenever his name is said out loud. So basically, Voldemort. Oh shit, I wrote that. Is he going to come kill me? Is Voldemort going to come kill me?
This definitely showcases sick brain Derek writing all of that.
No one ever talks about if you can write down Voldemort's name.
That's
right?
true.
I've said it like 10 times now.
He who must not be named, right? But like, so is that just spoken word? Does that also come down to like the writing of it? What about my short poetry that I write about Voldemort in the night times?
So what?
Yes.
Is it about Ralph Fiennes or is it about Voldemort?
Oh, they definitely like it started being about Voldemort, like as the character concept. But then after seeing Ralph in these movies, I'm like, ooh, okay, now
Ralphie.
then slowly the
you've
lines,
got a nose?
the lines were blurred between each other. No nose, absolutely no nose.
Harry Potter. Is that your like every time you lay down and close your eyes?
Oh, yes.
Oh yes, Voldy
cuddles me to sleep at night. But yeah, no, despise Ralph with the nose. So that doesn't do it for me.
I like the idea that instead of having a WWJD, what would Jesus do? You have an HWMNBN, he who must not be named. HWMNBN.
Yeah, what would he who must not be named do?
Oh, I guess WWHM. God, that's hard. WWHWMNBN.
Oh man, sorry. One more time on that.
WWHWMNBN.
Oh my god, this is fantastic. I like that one.
WWHWMNBN.
Just say it 5 times.
Okay. WWHWMNBN. It's like WWJD, but like with how he who must not be named.
That's fantastic. That's a new tongue twister. So anyway, why are we talking about Harry Potter?
Oh, right. My last
J.K. Rowling's
expectation. Your last expectation.
She can get out of here. Oh, my last expectation. I wrote 80% off-screen kills, minimal gore. Is what was my final. What was
That's
your
basically
finale?
what I meant by my sarcastic greatest kills ever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I wrote no shock factor at all.
No,
I didn't really feel any tension from the trailer, so I was like, well, probably not any in the movie either.
Mm-hmm. All right, Derek. Well, gather around the campfire with me. Let's tell the spooky story. Madman. And that's basically how the movie starts, because we get to start with intense synth music, just like a whee to start on the title screen with the big Madman up, and it's actually kind of a cool design. This is a bit of trivia. Count Trivia is still playing Call of Duty, so I can tell this one because I didn't include this at the very end. The title screen for it is like this I want to say it's like a red background with these black trees curling up around the sides of it. It's actually really cool design. The guy who played the Madman designed it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, actually, I forget his name.
Wait, that's super cool.
His name was Paul Ehlers. How do you say that? Ehlers.
I don't know.
Paul
I've already tried to
Ehlers.
pronounce enough things today.
Yeah. So anyway, he actually designed that title card, and like they were actually going to use it for promotional information or like promotional materials, but then they had already paid for and like got the rights for the other stuff that they had already made, so they couldn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, so actually what he had designed was going to be the poster and such, but didn't end up being the case. Even though the other posters they have still kind of kick ass. I do still kind of enjoy them. But yeah, over the opening credit sequence, it's just the still image with the words coming and going. But there's like this fun little like honky tonk synth playing over it. That's like the best way I can describe it.
It was that.
Yeah, exactly. That's great. So there's a group gathered around a campfire. There's one dude singing like haunting tunes about a murder.
Yeah,
kind of strange.
I hated this,
but I think it's showing us quick clips of how everyone dies because as he passes by everyone in the group, you get a shot of like someone like their body being dragged through the woods or falling down or something. I'm like, I think it's trying to show us how they're going to die later on, and like that'd actually be pretty cool if that's how this played out, right? Because I think that's a really neat effect. I liked it.
It was pretty decent. Yeah.
But he's not a great performer, but the group is into it for some reason. They're all young teens except for this one old man, this one guy. Oh yeah, and there's a couple of like actual children there too.
I mean, not a bunch. There were like 3.
There were like 3. There weren't that many, yeah. But so the old man starts to tell the story of the titular Madman Mars is his name.
It felt like he was telling the exact same story that the guy just sang about.
He just sang about, right, exactly. So he was like this cruel farmer who beat his wife and his kids. He like used to go to the bar and get super drunk. He had his nose bitten off in a bar brawl,
which makes sense.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Like they're just trying to find ways to describe to us the reason he looks the way he does. Because beyond this, he is just a man. He's a man who had his nose bitten off. He got a gash in the side of his face. Like it's kind of weird. But as he talks, we get clips of like the Madman walking through this house with his axe in his hand. He's killing his family, and we do see him smash into the heads with his axe, like squishing them like watermelons. I was not expecting that.
I wasn't either. It was pretty shocking.
Yeah.
Knowing it's condoms now.
Wow, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that?
Madman.
So one day he just went mad. Again, why was he called Mad? His name is Madman Mars. Was he Madman before this?
I don't know.
But so the townsfolk found out what about he did, and they hung him to death. But then the next morning his body was missing. Wasn't where they hung him, and so were the bodies of his wife and kids. Like they were gone too, and like nobody knows where the bodies went. Woo. So anyway, this annoying boy named Richie starts calling out to the Madman. He's like, "Where are you? You're not so tough. I'll get you, Madman." And then he throws a rock just into the distance of the woods, and it happens to get thrown right through the window of Madman's house.
Okay, we never see this house again. It was like a separate shot with different lighting of this random house, and then all of a sudden, he throws a rock, it crashes through the window.
And it seemed like they were somewhere like deep in the woods, not right next to his house.
And we had seen behind this man, there was no way.
Unless this man is like star athlete, get him pitching in baseball.
Yeah,
like,
he can throw
throw like a whole mile.
1 whole mile.
Honey, you got to come over and check out this kid. He can throw a baseball a whole mile.
Oh, honey, I'm so excited to come see this man.
Come on. Why is it that every time we do a 20s announcer voice and you bring a woman in, the immediate joke that jumps to my head is like, he's going to beat her later.
What the hell?
That's because we've done that before. That's what happens every time.
You're right. It's because that was the terrible time.
It was a terrible time, and I'm sorry that's where my brain went, so I'm not going to go there.
You horrible man.
I'm a horrible
Garfield.
Man. Oh, man. So anyway, he throws a rock. It smashes through the window, even though they're nowhere near it. And then the old man, Max, cries out, "He didn't mean it. Let's hope that was enough to stop him." Like, there's something about how serious they're taking this really ridiculous thing that is very funny. It's very stupid.
This little girl's like terrified out of her mind.
Oh, my God. Yeah, Betsy, one of the main girls, is holding one of these little girls. She's like protecting her. She's like, "Were you scared? Are you okay?" And
I was so scared I couldn't open my eyes.
No, that's still way too much emotion in there.
I was so scared I couldn't open my eyes.
Yeah, she just so like the most drab, monotone voice. She's like, "I was so scared I couldn't open my eyes."
Yeah, it's
like just
and
nothing.
Then, like the next shot, immediately you just see her laughing and giggling.
And
but
playing,
like, all the actors are all the characters are talking about how scared the kids are.
It's crazy.
And how terrified they are.
Like, oh, it's so spooky, but they're all laughing and playing. It's stupid. So anyway, they all make their way back to somewhere. I don't know where they're going or where they came from.
Nope.
I actually had to look up the fact that they were at a summer camp because I didn't feel like they ever actually told us that they were doing that. We just kind of had to infer that information.
No.
It was strange. But so Richie, the guy who was yelling out at the Madman, he sees an ominous silhouette in the trees above them, and then he loses the group because he was too busy staring at Madman up in the trees.
Tree man.
Yeah, so he's wandering alone, and he finds the house where he broke the window with a rock. And I guess the Madman is chilling in the basement. He's just like moaning to himself like a zombie.
Yeah, that's all he ever does in the entire movie. Every time you see him, he's just...
That's all he does. He never speaks. He just moans like a zombie would. The sets for the interior of the house are pretty decent, I said. Like, they weren't bad. I liked them well enough. There was actually one shot that I didn't put in the trivia as well. There's one shot where someone is coming down the stairs, and they had to act like they were coming downstairs because it was actually shot in a closet at a different location.
Oh.
Which is kind of funny.
That's fun.
I like finding out those things.
Yeah, I like that too.
So back at the camp, people are mingling with each other. It's just general, like, I didn't write a lot of notes about them interacting with each other because it was generally really boring.
It was all incredibly boring.
Yeah, I didn't really need to see it. But we see a drunk chef, I think. Yeah. He had an apron on, so I assume he's the chef.
Bad name to chefs, though.
Yeah, real bad for chefs. Yeah, come on, up with chefs. Not all
chefs.
chefs is drunk all the time.
Not all chefs are, I mean, a lot of them are. I'm personally not, but I've known a lot of them that are.
Yeah, so this drunk chef, he opens up this doorway and he finds a Sasquatch on the other side of the door who just swipes at him
this
real quick.
This was so fast. If you blinked, you would have missed this.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, what's funny is, like, it was clearly the Madman character, but what's strange is, like, I still would consider, I feel like they did do monster delay, even though they showed us the entire thing in that one clip. It was like a blink and you miss it moment, right? So technically it did still fit the monster delay, because after that scene, you only see him in small bits, his feet, his hands.
And you don't even really see his face, his features lit up until the end.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? You kind of see his figure. You know who he is, but it doesn't ever give it away.
But the best way I have to describe the Madman is like a Bigfoot mask, like a Sasquatch character that they kind of like messed up in the face
with a Doc Brown wig.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. It's Doc Bigfoot Brown.
But the prosthetic that was like on this guy's neck was pretty insane.
It wasn't that bad. I actually kind of liked it.
I liked it a lot. Because goopy.
They show it because it shows him getting slashed, right? And then there's a shot of him like staring directly at the camera with his neck all gooped up and nasty.
It was nasty.
Yeah. So I really wish the Madman wore shoes. He's just running around. He's running around with them dogs out. Oh, God, no, please, Derek,
I don't remember why.
Stop.
So everybody knows about Isaac's podophobia. Is that what it is? It's the fear of feet. And this guy's feet were in this movie a lot.
Yeah,
and Isaac made the joke about licking toes or something.
You made that. No, you did. You started that because we were making jokes about Richie being in the house.
Oh, that's
and you were like, yeah, I bet he wants to suck on his toes. I'm like, Derek, stop.
And then every single time he saw his toes, I just went,
I despise it. I hate it.
He's just
so
like,
much.
Imagine it like a big furry mustache.
Nope.
Laying on a bed.
Nope. Anyway, we're in his rusty ass basement, and it's giving me tetanus just looking at it. There's so much rust in this rusty basement. And Madman keeps like extinguishing candles with his bare hand. It's just like
it's the coolest, most badass thing ever.
Yeah, and not like with his fingertips or anything. He just like puts his whole palm onto the candle.
So I do want to mention something.
Yeah,
like all of the dialogue we're skipping, there is a lot.
There's a lot of it.
It is so egregious. But the worst thing about it is it's basically like that like stereotypical 80s porn dialogue.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean?
This is like the horniest movie that wasn't actually that horny.
Like we kept expecting them to have just like crazy orgies all the time.
Yeah.
Because like everyone was like talking kind of horny towards each other and the dialogue was
just the general vibe, the music over it.
Yeah.
It's like we're watching like an 80s porno.
And then there's a part where a guy's trying to pull an axe out of a stump.
Oh my God. Yeah, there's a part. This does come back later, so we should mention it.
Yeah.
There's a stump that has an axe buried deep into it. And one of the guys, I think it's TP, comes over to Old Man Max. Is like, hey, are you still offering $100 if someone can pull this axe out of this stump,
and then
right?
cue the sexual music.
Yeah. So like he's trying to pull it out. He's like, come on, old man, give me a hand. And the two of them together are grunting and trying to pull this axe up. And there's like sensual shots coming down the handle of it with like the two of their hands holding it together. Like,
and then they called, this was before the chef died, because they called the chef over to help him with it. And so like they're basically having a three-way.
Yeah, exactly.
Trying to pull this
Chef's
axe
not
out.
into it though. He's like, no, I'm gonna go drink over here.
I'm gonna go take a drink.
Yeah, it's weirdly sensual is how I would describe it all the time.
But and even on top of that, like acting and the way they spoke their lines was that like cliche, like you would see in sitcoms and stuff, like making fun of 80s porn.
Yeah.
Right? It's just like, oh, hey, I'm the mailman. I'm here to take your mail.
It's you, the mailman. I wasn't expecting you here in the middle of the woods. I sure hope you're not a hairy Bigfoot serial killer or anything.
I'm not. Here's my axe. Wow,
that's a big axe.
Basically that, but then they never had sex.
Yeah, no. But to that degree, it does happen. I'd say like 1.5 times, 1.25 times, because now the camp counselor guy is going to market or something like that. Like he's leaving. And he's like, hey, you know that beer you got stashed at the bottom of the fridge like against regulation? Save me a beer. And they're like, cool old man Max.
Did we even talk about the fact that he like yelled Mad Mars's name?
Oh, like who, the old man did?
Yeah, they like all yelled it in unison.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, now be sure to everyone take a buddy into the woods. And because why? Because the Madman will get you.
Yeah, and like he tried to establish this point of like you say his name and he shows up.
If you say his name above a whisper, that's what he says. That's the line.
But
right?
They yell it.
Yeah.
And then like never bring it up again. And then they never bring it up again and now he's murdering people.
Yeah, he's like, never say his name, except let's all say it in unison one time real loud right next to his house so he can come get us.
Yeah.
It's
but
stupid.
And then he does that stupid thing where he's like, oh, you hear that, Mars? I'm real sorry. We don't want any trouble.
Yeah.
Hey, don't worry about it. Oh, don't worry, guys. That called him off. He won't. I'm going to go to market now.
So yeah, now the teens are left alone. So TP is one of the guys in Beverly? Betsy. That's her name. Betsy. So TP earlier was like kind of harassing Betsy to some degree for like not wanting to like sleep with him for a second. He's like, come on. She's like, come on, another night. He's like, we don't got many nights left. This summer camp's almost over, blah, blah, blah. So now she's pissed at him, won't sleep with him. So he takes it upon himself now to, with the whole group involved, at like just chilling, drinking beer. He's like, I would like to formally apologize. This is my bad character. I just want everyone to know that I'm cool. And Betsy, I'm so sorry. You deserve better than me. And everyone starts clapping for him.
Full on clap.
They start applauding.
Like he gave a TED talk.
Yeah, because me personally, I'm like, who cares? Why are you doing this publicly?
You're so gross. Apologize to her like in private and like then move on.
But then it works somehow, and then they get naked and take a dip in the hot tub for some reason.
Oh my gosh, this was the worst scene in the whole movie.
Oh my god, there's some very sensual 80s sex sequence music going.
Of them just taking their clothes off, which takes like 2 minutes. I timed it.
This is the first moment in the movie where I'm like, these scenes, these shots, these sequences are all much longer than they should be.
So then they get into this hot tub. And speaking of scenes that are too long, right?
This is the one.
We went back and watched it twice because we needed to count.
Which was too long.
They spin 3 full times
They're just
around this hot tub.
circling each other in the tub.
Yes.
Circling themselves and each other.
And then they spin around themselves in like a tiny little circle 9 times.
They haven't even kissed yet. They're just doing little circles.
It takes over 3 minutes of them in silence, spinning in circles. It felt comedic. It felt like a comedy.
I know. I'm like,
I
are we
didn't
supposed to be
understand what was
taking this
happening.
seriously?
It was so stupid.
It was ridiculous. And so after 3 long minutes, technically 7 for us because we watched it twice.
Yeah,
sorry, 6. God, that's math. So 6 long minutes of us watching that. Finally, we get a POV shot of the Madman coming at them from the woods.
Yeah, I like
walking
that.
up to the cabin, like looking through the window to see them in there making out with each other because they finally end up kissing each other. And then it doesn't really do anything. Like he doesn't end up actually attacking them while they're in the hot tub. He's just like stalking them, I guess. I'm not really sure why.
I don't know.
But now one of Betsy's friends, Stacy, who's kind of a jerk the whole time. I didn't really like her, but she's struggling to roam through the woods at night. She just like takes a canoe across the lake to the other side of the woods and just like is trying to walk up this hill and is like struggling to walk up the dirt.
Yeah.
It doesn't really do anything. And then the Madman almost gets her. There's so many shots of like the Madman almost reaching a person, just like limply pawing at them. And barely missing them like he's a Scooby-Doo villain or something.
Right.
and I wrote here, like, how can he be everywhere at once? Because he was at the house at first, then he went and killed the chef, then he was stalking them in the hot tub, and now he's on the other side of the lake where she just canoed to.
It really felt like it wanted to be Jason Voorhees.
Exactly,
right?
with his teleporting powers.
Really wanted to.
Yeah. So anyway, now Stacy is back with more of the counselors, and they're just chilling in front of a fire. And are any of them even watching the kids?
No, man.
Yeah.
There are no kids anymore. I don't know where they went.
No,
this whole time.
There's like one cabin that has children in it that occasionally they'll go back to just to be like, hey, we are camp counselors. We need to do our job.
Yeah.
It does not happen very often. And then a really weird scene happens where one of them, I think his name is Dave, goes kind of psycho and just starts brandishing a knife and pretending to talk like a serial killer would, talking about like how easily the human mind can slip and you don't know if I'm crazy or not. And like this man is definitely like a wannabe killer. He's a creep.
Yeah, he was icky.
I didn't understand it. It was very, very strange for him.
Super out of place for the movie, too.
Yeah.
It didn't fit.
So then TP and Betsy are done with their little hot tub sex scene, and he starts looking for Richie because he noticed Richie is missing now.
Yep.
And so he's like, okay, cool. I'm going to go off and find him on his own. And the acting in this movie is so bad, it's funny. It makes me laugh the entire time.
It killed me.
It's so bad that I can't be upset about it, right?
Yeah.
And this movie feels so all over the place and inconsistent. All of these plot lines are weaving in and out in like the worst manner.
Yeah.
Because like we get Richie who's stuck at the house and he's lost in the woods now. Then we got the Madman doing his stuff, Stacy and other people at the place, the hot tub. Like all of it's like weirdly disconnected, and I didn't like the way it flowed.
It was very separate from each other.
Yeah. So while TP is out looking for Richie, the Madman catches him. He ties a noose around his neck and hangs him from a tree, just like he was hung, right?
Because apparently he only kills people with axes and hanging.
Yeah, so only the way that he killed and was killed, I guess. And then TP actually does manage to pull himself up onto the branch.
This was brutal, man.
And then Madman just like walks up to him, takes him by his belt buckle that has his initials on it, has TP on his big old belt buckle, and just pulls him down real hard and then breaks his neck on the rope. It was actually a pretty decent
gnarly
kill.
Yeah.
I also, another thing, there was a lot of trivia to be had. Surprisingly, a lot of trivia for this one. Another one that I didn't include at the end, the actor who played TP wanted his death to look so realistic. He tied rubber bands around his neck to give his face that like ghostly color that it had.
What?
Because he looks super pale and like bad.
Yeah.
It's because he was actually choking himself.
Oh my God.
Yeah, not enough to like make him pass out or kill him, but still, like, that's a little much, I think.
That's a little method.
It's a little method
like
for
that.
me. Yeah. But I wrote here again, I do appreciate how we really haven't seen the whole of the Madman. We saw all of him in that first shot where he appeared and killed the chef.
I did
but
like this too.
It was so fast you could have missed it. So like we're only getting little bits of the Madman here and there, and I do like that. So we start a cycle here now.
Yes, we do.
So now
we do.
Betsy starts worrying about TP because he should have been back right now, right? And he was just hung in the woods. And so he's missing now, and she's been seeing these shapes in the shadows, and so she's getting really worried. So now she goes over to the wannabe serial killer, Dave. She's like, will you please go look for him? And so now he goes looking for him. Meanwhile, the Madman does pull out the axe from the stump that they were going to pay $100 for.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like, but that's supposed to be impossible.
Oh my God.
He can't remove the axe from the stump.
He still struggled with it, though.
That was really funny. He didn't do it like one fell swoop, you know. He did struggle and then like split the stump in half, which was kind of neat. But it's just really funny how now the exact same thing happens. Someone goes missing, someone goes to look for them. Derek, do you want to describe this?
Yeah, so I actually made a flow chart.
He made a flow chart.
And I'm going to put this in the notes on the episode. You can follow along. So if there's campers in a cabin and someone's missing, is there someone missing? Yes, you can go and find that person.
Okay.
Or if no one's missing, you can hang out and have sex.
Okay, cool.
If one person leaves, you can either wait for them to come back or have more sex. Then
there's always time for sex.
But the one person who left, you can go find them, or you could have sex. If you didn't find them, you go and you yell their name a lot, or you can have some sex.
Yep.
Then you say you find their flashlight. So you test their flashlight. At this point, they're like, well, like through the movie, everyone loses their flashlight when they die. So like this always happens.
It's a strange thing because for this scene specifically, it's like Dave is going through the woods. He has a lantern with him. He sees a flashlight in the distance and like kind of confusedly looks at his lantern, then back at the flashlight. It's like, well, I have my light source. I got the lantern.
So there must be another flashlight.
So what's that over there? Yeah. And then later on, it happens again. Someone has a flashlight. Then they see the lantern, pick up the lantern, see the flashlight. This chain keeps going.
So yeah, you find a flashlight, you test your flashlight, you look at all the other flashlights. Then maybe you find the body. You find the body, you're going to scream their name. Then what's going to happen? Madman's going to appear. He's going to get you. He's either going to hang you up or he's going to axe you. We're going to repeat the whole process all over again.
Someone goes
We're back
missing,
at the cabin.
Someone goes looking for them. Yeah, it's over and over and over.
It is a cycle.
And throughout the entirety of this cycle, every scene is taking so long to get to the point. I'm not feeling any suspense. Just move on.
Yeah.
Because the sequence of Dave looking for TP in the woods takes so far too long.
It takes so long.
Like tens of minutes too long for him to finally find this guy.
In reality, this cycle probably only happened 3 times.
Yeah.
But, I mean, 3 times is a lot.
Exactly, for there being only like 5 of them at this little place, right?
And if you look at how many people end up as deaths in this movie,
in this cycle,
it's insane. It's a good majority of it.
So yeah, the wannabe serial killer finds the hanging body of TP and he makes a run for it. But then the madman chases him with his axe and whacks his head off like golf style, just like bam, right to the side of him. You don't actually see it though because it cuts back really quick. So now Stacy goes out to get some help and is being stalked by the madman. The cycle continues yet again, right?
Yeah.
But then she's trying to get in the car. The car won't start. Classic 80s trope right there, right?
Yeah.
She opens the hood and fiddles around for like 2 seconds with a screwdriver, and then the car is just fine. And then the madman limply goes to open the door before she peels out, not even aware that he was there in the first place. And I'm like, I wish he would have a little bit of a sense of urgency about him, right?
No, man.
Because every time he's about to grab someone, she's like, oh, I missed.
Oh, dang.
Oh, so close.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, exactly. And I wrote here, the teens just keep finding leftover light sources from the previous missing.
Exactly. See, it just keeps happening.
Yeah.
It's the cycle.
So Stacy picks up the decapitated body of Dave, the wannabe killer, and his body limply falls next to his severed head, which it looks pretty good. The effects, like the gore in this is actually not
the practical
terrible.
effects were great.
Actually looked pretty good. I liked that. And so then his body's dragged off into the night. And then as Stacy is under the hood of her truck trying to fix it again because she's trying to escape, it wasn't working. The madman stomps onto the hood and it takes her head off.
That was pretty gruesome.
It was kind of wild. Wasn't
gnarly.
expecting that one.
I actually kind of missed it and then looked up like halfway through it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, that's happening.
Because she's just in there, just like digging around in the hood, and then just like wham, slams onto it, and the hood goes right over her neck. It was pretty crazy.
Guess you could say it goes over her
So
head.
guess what happened? So that's another cycle done. So now Stacy's missing. Now more teens are wandering into the woods.
Yep.
Obviously to get killed by Madman Mars. This movie just keeps repeating the same cycle over and over
and over.
So Ellie, so now it's Ellie and Bill, their boyfriend girlfriend. She runs to Bill after seeing the madman with her own eyes as he takes away Stacy's body. And he's like, no, it's okay, babe. She's like, okay, well, if you're coming with me, like, dude, you just saw like a monster in the woods. Get the hell out of there.
People are actually disappearing and dying.
Yeah, but so they literally find the bloody car and think nothing of it. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure that's fine.
Yeah, I probably hit a deer.
So then they get in the car, they try to start it, and it starts making this like squelching noise as they try to start. And it's like, what's that coming from? Well, it's Stacy's head chilling under the hood of the car, still in there. So then they're like freaking out, trying to get out of there. They do actually manage to start the car after they take Stacy's head out of it. And then the madman shows up, pulls Bill out of the whole window.
Yeah,
and then he holds Bill above his head. Like he's gonna do like Bane and like break his back over his knee or something
rip
like
him
that.
in half or something.
I thought he was going to. I really wanted
did
him
too.
to.
It looked intense.
Because both of us actually, we literally looked at each other and said, no way.
No way.
They wouldn't.
They won't.
They couldn't.
They
No
won't.
way.
And then they didn't.
And unfortunately, didn't know. Yeah, his body just makes weird crunching noises as it was happening. Yeah. So Ellie runs off. The car like crashes and she like rolls out of the side of it. Meanwhile, Richie, remember that guy from the beginning? Yeah, I forgot about him too.
Me too.
He's still alive, and he's wandered in the woods this whole movie. We've skipped over many sequences of him just being like, "Where am I? Damn, where am I?" Like he's just
over and over
hopeless. He's a hopeless character. So he's wandered in the woods long enough, and now he's back at the madman's house. He's just looped completely around.
Yep.
And he sees the madman going off, like he dropped off another body back at home. He runs back over to the camp. Whenever the madman goes off to kill someone, he's practically like frolicking through the woods.
Oh, 100%.
He's like jumping and skipping. Yeah, exactly.
With
real
his
like
big,
leprechaun
giant
energy of him.
Feet, toes.
Yeah, gross. Yeah. See, I knew you were going to do that.
You started it.
Ugh. So Richie enters the house and he finds something in the basement. He just sits there looking at something off screen and trying to look terrified for like a solid like 15 seconds. Like,
it was
so
too long
of him just staring, and then his face contorts and he looks more like, oh my God, oh, it's awful. But he doesn't say anything. It's all in his facial expressions.
And we never find out what he was looking
which
at.
are just okay to be.
Yeah. No, yeah.
I think he was just looking at the bodies. Like that's really all it was.
It didn't seem like it because it was like glowing and it was like,
it's like, what did Richie see in there?
It kind of subverted me a little bit, which I don't think it was trying to do. I thought that the madman was like doing something insane, like creating some ritual, because it shows a couple shots of like him lighting candles.
Yeah,
in the
there's a lot of
basement,
shots of him lighting
and
candles,
with like skulls
which do I guess
around.
become Chekhov's candles at a certain point.
Kind of.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why they did that. But I don't know. I expected it to be kind of like a Friday the 13th situation.
Yeah,
Or
where
maybe
it's a
his
little
family
supernatural.
was down there. Not really.
I guess so. So now Ellie is frantically running around the camp trying to find any of her friends, but they're all gone now. Most of them are dead now, except for
they went
Betsy,
through the cycle.
I think. Betsy's like the only one. So the Madman has found her. He slams through like multiple wooden doors, chasing after her. And the sound effects for Madman are interesting. I wrote, why does he sound like that? He's just... This is good radio.
No, it's great.
So she hides for a moment and then suddenly loses the man. I'm like, let's just keep moving it. Like, let's keep this momentum. Because now the scene goes for even longer where she's like slowly creeping through the house and you see him like hiding behind one of the doors that he destroyed.
This scene took so long.
And like this movie keeps
there was just
ruining
no tension.
It just keeps ruining any tension building or suspense or momentum it creates, right? Like it instantly does away with any of it. So now the Madman is hiding from her, little reverse psychology. So she walks right past where he's hiding and then wham, he chops her neck with the axe. And I mean, this could have happened 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, it really could have.
I was like, great, yeah, he finally got her. Why didn't this happen sooner? Why did we need this scene to go on for so long?
We talked about this a little bit while we were watching it. The whole movie felt like they took a camera, they set it up, and played the scene and didn't look at the footage and then just put it into the movie.
And they were like
they didn't cut it at all.
We'll tell the editor to cut down any of these sequences if they run long, and they just never told the editor.
I don't think they did. I think that maybe everything was done in like one take, and they were just like, all right, well, we don't have the money to build a house again.
Yeah, it really felt like they used they used all of the footage that was shot. There were very little cuts made to this movie. It was just so long for no reason.
Absolutely.
So now Betsy's the only living counselor at this point, right? And she finds the dead body of Ellie that just got axed up, right? And she goes to call for help. And she calls old man Max and tells him that he's got to come back for help. And again, I'm like, I thought he was just going to market. Shouldn't he be back by now? And maybe I just didn't hear the line well enough. But yeah, so she calls him. He's like, oh, all right, I'll be right over there. And then as useless as all these counselors are, you got to give them credit. The children have remained unharmed and also severely unutilized in this movie.
And just not in existence.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess they have done that much as far as their job, right?
It's because they were so scared they couldn't open their eyes.
Yeah, really. And every shot is like 30 seconds too long. Not just the scenes themselves, but the shots. All of them go on for far too long as she's like walking through the campsite with a gun in her hands trying to find where the murderer is. And then she accidentally fires her gun wildly and happens to shoot Ellie, who maybe wasn't completely dead.
Well, she sees Ellie get thrown against a window by Mars, and then she just shoots at it because she's like, oh crap, and shoots her right in the freaking chest.
Instantly turns around and fires without even thinking about it. Like, what if that was a kid?
But it kills her.
Yeah,
it kills Ellie.
She's super dead now for sure. So now Betsy wakes up all of the kids that we've never seen and starts loading them onto a bus. And then again, Madlan's here limply like clawing at the windows, not really doing much damage. And then in true Sasquatch fashion, he appears in front of the bus headlights with the same trot as the Sasquatch would. The same gait in his walk, you know. I loved it.
It's so silly.
And then so he's like clawing. There's a really, again, super long sequence where he has a hand in the bus door and she just keeps whacking at it and whacking and whacking.
Which that could have happened twice. Like if he could have shoved his hand in, hit it a couple times, he pulls it out. This lasted so long.
It went back and forth between her slamming at it to his hand getting slammed like 8 times.
At least.
Over and over and over. She must have slammed his hand 8 times. And it really bothered
him.
So anyway, she suddenly has a change of heart because she's about to drive all these kids away, right? She's like, no, I have to go find the others. I can't abandon them like this. So then she's suddenly just like, oh, hey, one of you kids, drive the bus to town now, okay?
Okay, bye.
He seems like he's one of the older of the kids, but it's still weird to be like, yeah, take all of these unsupervised children and get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
So now she somehow instinctively knows, A, that all of the teens are at the old house, and B, where that house even is, because she just instantly ends up there.
Yep.
Yeah. Funny enough, another bit of trivia. God, there's so many of these. Another bit of trivia that I didn't keep in here. There's apparently a scene where on her way to this house, she runs into Richie, and they kind of talk for a second. They have a scene, and the director cut that because he thought it would ruin the momentum of the movie.
Excuse me?
He was worried about that. He was worried about the pacing of this movie.
Are you kidding me?
What now
Did
of
you
all
watch
times?
the movie? I want to see the version where he wasn't worried about the pacing.
Yeah, exactly. Because good Lord,
what?
that's insane.
This movie had no pacing.
This movie had atrocious pacing problems. Like I couldn't believe that. So anyway, so she comes in. She's got a flashlight in one hand, a shotgun in the other. Even though you probably shouldn't be shooting a whole ass shotgun with one hand, unless you're Ash Williams in Evil Dead.
No, she's badass though. She can do whatever.
Yeah. So the Madman is lurking behind her in this house. Again, he can just appear anywhere, wherever he wants, all the time, right?
She's so bad though, because she hears a noise and just fires her shotgun again.
Wildly fires at nothing, leaving her without any ammo when the Madman attacks her.
She's so dumb.
It was at this point that I literally wrote, like, I'm checking checking out of this movie. It is a drag, and it's like it keeps going.
We're getting through it pretty quick, but you have to understand this is a full like hour and 40-minute movie.
Yeah, we are cutting down a lot of the
hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah,
wow, it felt like 3 hours.
So anyway, so she shoots at nothing because she freaks out, and then she has no ammo, and so then the madman swats away her gun and then slashes at her face, and then just drags her down to the basement as she yells with her mouth closed.
Yeah, this whole scene
I was so scared
over.
I kept my mouth closed.
Daddy, why am I screaming with my mouth closed?
Yeah, Derek actually noticed this where he was like, her mouth is closed, but there's the sounds of screaming happening.
And all of the noises she was making didn't match her mouth.
No, of course not. So now down in the basement, Madman sticks, he just like full, like, I think this is where like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre bit comes in here, because he sticks her onto a meat hook, impaling right through the center of her. Like this, she would be dead. Like there's no way.
No, yeah.
But of course, before she dies, she pulls out a little pocket knife and stabs into him, which causes the Madman to knock over a lit candle and just like burn his whole house down. In one fell swoop, his whole house is gone. And then we get a shot of all the kids in the basement. They look like they're set up like a wax museum. They're just like limply hanging on the side of the walls.
And then there is like 3 rotting corpses on the set, which may be his
family that died. Yeah, I'm not really sure. So now so the house burns down. That's really all that comes of that. And now we see Richie out on the street where old man Max finds him in his car because he finally showed up, right?
Yep.
And Richie is traumatized. He's stunned. He looks out of his mind and he starts thinking of his dead friends. And we see like flashes of them imposed over the shot of Richie's face as the Madman Mars theme song plays over the credits as they roll. Or like as the credits roll, like there's Madman Mars has like a theme song.
Yeah, he does.
Do you remember how it goes?
No.
No, it was kind of ridiculous.
Man, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'll play it.
It's kind of twangy, kind of like a country vibe to it. But yeah, then the movie's over. That's it, guys. We did it.
Yay!
We went through it, so you don't have to. That is our podcast, right?
That one was rough, man.
It was brutal. You got any kill counts?
Yeah, there were 10 kills in this movie. Most 3 of those were like the flashback kills, but then another 6, and I think that counts. Madman as well.
Absolutely.
Even though it doesn't really show him die.
No, and even as Richie's having his little freak out moment inside of his head, it does show a sequence of like Madman walking through the woods with his axe in his hand. I'm like, is that you just remembering Madman, or is that the fact that like it's showing us he lived, like he didn't actually die?
Yeah, I don't know.
No idea.
I have literally
no damn
idea.
clue. Sincerely. Shall we discuss our expectations?
Yeah, man. Let's do it.
So I wrote the heart of 80s horror, and I think I'd say yes to this one. The music fit, the flowchart of kills fit, the useless sex scene fit, and so did the dialogue and the kills. I feel like it was definitely an 80s slasher.
Yeah.
The car not starting. Like I think it fit.
It fits. I said greatest kill ever, but sarcastically. Some of them were fun, but most of them were just kind of anticlimactic.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't enough tension to build up to its like satisfying kill.
Exactly. I said obnoxious teen characters, and some of them started out pretty obnoxious, but they ended up just being like numbingly stupid characters that just really made me be like, I'm so upset because they're just so dumb this whole movie.
Some fun synth music. Yeah, but it was all the same, and it just felt like a bunch of guys sitting in a circle around a like recording tape, smoking a blunt, like plucking away at a keyboard.
And what's
like,
really funny, we didn't mention this, every single time that the Madman, before he even showed up on screen, because it'd be like a person in maybe a precarious situation, you knew they were in trouble because there'd be a synth that just went boom, boom, boom. That was it.
Boom, boom.
That's it. Just like don't. And so it's like, okay, the Madman's here now because his little tune, his little music sting played.
Yeah.
I said a lackluster antagonist, but I won't dislike him. And I mean, yeah, the Madman was pretty lame most of the time, and he was just fine. Like nothing about him really impressed me, even when we got up close with his face. I'm like, that looks decent, but it's just Bigfoot Doc Brown.
Really though, my like paragraph about it being Voldemort because they say his name and he shows up. The plot line to this movie basically didn't exist. I mean, they said I expected more to like they would say his name and he would appear or something like that. They really played into that, and then it never happened through the entire movie.
I really do kind of side with the people who review this movie as like it seems like they try to steal a lot from things like Friday the 13th, right?
Yeah.
And not develop enough of their own story to back it up. It's just like this formula worked for Friday the 13th, so we should keep doing it and not actually develop it much beyond that, right?
No, for sure.
Yeah. I said the music will be my favorite character, and it definitely made me laugh and kept me entertained. It offered some enjoyment when the scenes dragged on and on. So I did enjoy it. It wasn't fantastic, but it wasn't bad either.
Yeah, no real shock factor. Boy, oh boy, was I right about that one?
Oh man, yeah.
There was none.
Nah, none of that stuff. I said 80% off-screen kills, minimal gore. I was 100% wrong on this one. All the kills were like fairly graphic, yet still tame somehow. Yeah. Like they weren't like shock factor. Wow. Some of them were like when the guy got hung more, and like, you know, some of the axe kills were pretty wild. But yeah, so that's that. I was wrong about the off-screen kills. You saw a lot of them. You know, the condom exploding with stuff in it.
Yeah, for sure. And then really dumb plot. And I just wrote, what plot?
What plot? Where's the plot? Where are you hiding now?
Where's the plot? Where's the plot?
So surprises. I said I was greatly shocked by the kills that were in this movie. I don't know why I wasn't expecting really any gory kills, but it started out strong right from the beginning, showing like him chopping into his wife's head in the bed. Like that was really crazy to me. And to that effect also, like a surprise to me was like the practical effects held up. They were actually pretty good, all things considered, right?
For sure.
I was surprised just how long the scenes would drag and drag. I mean, this movie could have been 40 minutes shorter, and it would have been much more enjoyable as a result, right?
For sure.
I said I was surprised by how much it made me laugh, even though it was not a horror comedy. I feel like if it was as fun as that one, I might have enjoyed it a little bit more. And then my final surprise was just like how repetitive it was with the kills, you know, with Derek's flow chart there. Refer to that to get what we're talking about here.
My surprise is how absolutely boring it was.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen a movie with that many drawn out shots. It really felt like they were trying to hit an hour and a half. Like they needed it. Like I really believe you had cut this movie to be like 50 minutes and it would be actually decent. Some of the kills were pretty fun. I agree that like there was no shock factor to the movie, but I do think that some of those kills were like surprising.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't say that I was ever shocked, but I was more like, whoa, they just unexpected. Yeah. The prosthetics, the practical effects were all really, really good.
Really good.
Another surprise was that I basically just watched an 80s softcore porn.
Yeah.
With like
Without
any porn.
Oh man,
that's it for me.
So we got verdicts here. You ready?
I am.
Verdicts for me. We got a new one in the house today. I'm gonna say that was laughable.
Ooh.
This would have been boreable.
I really like that.
This would have been a boreable movie for me, but it passed that threshold into being so bad that it kept me entertained by having me laugh at its ridiculousness.
I love
like,
that.
Really though. And so like, if you must watch this one, then you must bring a friend along so you can poke fun at this shoddy 80s slasher and not want to take an axe to yourself.
For sure. I'm sorry, I couldn't. I like that rating a lot, but I'm at boreable.
Yeah,
I'm at that was boreable.
It was barely passing boreable for me.
Like the kills did not bring it back. It was just like everything that was happening in this movie was taking so long. I found myself making a flow chart in the middle of the movie instead of watching the movie, and that's a really bad sign for me.
Yeah.
So that's why
that was bad for us. Shall we? This is my time. I've got the game of the game of Call of Duty going on in there. Blah blah. You know, Call of Duty. Blah. It's spooky. I can't make it spooky. It's just the kids. They made fun of me.
Call of Duty.
The kids made fun of me and all of my spooks and games, and they said you've never even played Call of Duty, so I'm going to play Call of Duty anyway.
Aren't all the kids into Fortnite?
I gotta go back to Call of Duty.
Hey, aren't you in Fortnite? Okay.
So. Count trivia for today says the crew had to paint the leaves of trees and bushes. They had to paint them green on location.
What?
Because the film was actually being shot in winter, but was supposed to be set in the warmer weather. So yeah, all the leaves were dying or changing, so they had to paint them green.
All the leaves are wrong.
It's kind of weird, right?
We must paint them green.
Jan Claire, who plays Ellie, assisted with casting the film and was brought on to play the role of Ellie at last minute when the original actress dropped out.
Oh shoot!
Yeah, which kind of tracks a little bit. It does. Paul Eller, who was the Madman, right? His son, Jonathan Ellers, was born during the shooting of this movie.
Whoa.
So Paul received the news that his wife was in labor while filming a scene in full Madman Mars makeup.
Oh my God.
So what did he do?
Did he go to the hospital?
Paul went immediately to the hospital and held his newborn son for the first time while still wearing some of his Mars makeup and overalls covered with fake blood.
That's incredible.
I love that story.
That's so fun.
I think that's super fun. According to Paul Ehlers, the fake feet he wore as part of his Madman Mars costume were very slippery and nearly caused him to fall out of the tree in the shot where the Madman watches the campers in the woods. Yeah, because this is something Derek actually called pretty early on, where he was like, those are not real feet. Those are shoes
100%.
With toes added to them.
Yeah, those are shoes.
Apparently they were kind of dangerous, a little slippery.
I love that.
And then the last bit of trivia here is originally Madman was supposed to be based on the Cropsey Killer legend.
What?
Yeah, but when word reached the production that The Burning, also from 1981, was being based on the same legend, the script was rewritten. And so here's a little bit about Cropsey. Is a legend apparently. So As the story goes, Cropsey was rumored to be a homicidal madman, an escaped mental patient with a hook for a hand who hunted children and dragged them back to the tunnel system that lay under the abandoned ruins of the old Seaview Hospital, a former tuberculosis sanitarium.
Whoa.
Yeah, so this is like a local legend.
Is that why there are all those kids in the movie that did nothing?
That did nothing because they probably hired these actors.
Killed.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that is our trivia for today.
Fun.
So what's the next movie? Is this time to tell them what the next one is?
Something we didn't talk about.
What
that we should probably talk about. This was our 40th episode.
This is 40 of them.
40.
That's nuts. How many? You did the math. Like, what is it? What?
48.
48. This is our 48th content.
I think this is our 49th episode.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Because we've done the not so horribles and the special episodes, which we don't count in our numericals of them, right? So like 40 numerically, but 49 now.
Yeah, dude.
Almost 50 episodes.
It's insane.
That's nuts. I didn't.
How
think
are we gonna celebrate?
I don't know. We should do something fun.
Let's
watch a good horror movie. How about?
I don't know what those are.
No, I've never watched one of those. No.
Let's buy some 40s.
Okay.
Isn't that a type of alcohol?
I think so, yeah. I don't know. We drink a lot. Yeah, you guys don't know. We're like super big on the drinking. Derek's like a super heavyweight, right? Yeah, Derek can drink a lot of alcohol.
Yeah. One shot doesn't floor me.
No,
yeah, totally.
But yeah, thanks for sticking around for 40 plus episodes. If you've listened to all of them. If not, that's cool too. Thanks for listening to this at all.
It is fun, like to scroll through and just randomly pick one and listen to our like cold open.
Yeah,
and
it's
listen
fun.
To our verdict.
See where we've come from and like how we have like changed it throughout the whole thing, and and like we do that for you guys. And thanks for listening to all of this. And making it something we can continue to do.
We've lost characters, we've gained characters.
They characters come and go, but they're always welcome.
But the spirit of them is always here.
The spirit of them is always here. The spirit of Gooper, the literal spirit of Gooper, is somewhere within these walls.
I mean, he's holding Bawhead inside of him still.
They're still one of the same. They're still son of Goophead Bex. He's
still out there.
These are characters that we've created.
Fly.
Where's Scrippy Scripto? We haven't seen in a couple episodes.
Tim the Timothy Man's out there.
So thanks for dealing with our hilarity and our nonsense for all of these episodes.
I just wanted to say something. I've been a little under the weather. This is the science, Jim.
Now get out of here.
Gilbad.
Gilbad, get out of here.
I'm the creature though. And I guess there weren't really any creatures at this one. I'm gonna go now.
Are you gonna be part of the podcast?
I'm gonna
then?
go away.
Does that mean I'm not needed? Okay. Anyway, what movie are we watching next week? Because I want to be involved more.
Next week, we're actually watching one that I was kind of sad to hear that it was bad enough for this podcast.
Oh, yeah?
It is Wes Craven's Cursed from 2005, sitting at a 15%.
I've seen that one.
It looks just like some kind of werewolf movie. I don't really know what else to describe about it. The reason that I even found this movie is because on Twitter, I saw a GIF from this movie of a werewolf breaking in through a window and then flipping someone off in full practical werewolf attire.
It
looks pretty bonkers.
I need the trivia to tell me that wasn't scripted.
It looks
and
insane.
They just kept it.
But it's got some crazy people in it. Like it's got Jesse Eisenberg in it, Christina Ricci, Milo Ventimiglia.
Ricci.
All of these people are in this movie. So like Wes Craven directed it. Like I am intrigued to say the least.
I love Wes Craven.
Yeah,
I'm in.
So tune in with us next week to check us out
episode 41.
For Cursed, episode 41. That's crazy. Released on a new moon because it's a werewolf movie.
Is it?
I don't know. Wouldn't that be crazy though?
Oh my god,
that's nuts.
Maybe it is.
Look it up. Look it up while I tell them about our socials. So we have social medias. If you want to follow us there, support us. It's just like, it makes us feel good to see that stupid little number go up. Even if you don't interact with all of our content and stuff like that. Like
it feels good.
Just going to Instagram and be like, you guys have 51 followers. Like, wow, that's one more than we had last time. Like, it's great. Please do. So anyway, we're on Instagram at _was_horrible, Twitter at TWH Podcast, Facebook at That Was Horrible Podcast, and YouTube at That Was Horrorble. Did you find anything about the moon cycle?
Yeah, our 42nd episode will be on the full moon.
That's pretty cool, though.
Not next episode, but the
so
one
Derek,
after.
that means when you pick your
I'll
movie,
pick a werewolf.
Pick a werewolf movie.
Maybe we'll watch Werewolf because you apparently like that movie, but it's at like a 30.
Oh, Wolfman?
Yeah, Wolfman.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Derek found out that it's got Benicio del Toro in it as the titular Wolfman. It's also got Anthony Hopkins in it, right?
Oh yeah.
I enjoyed that movie, and I'm a little nervous to watch this because I don't want to make fun of a movie that I like. Because I feel like Derek's going to see that and be like, "That movie was trash. Why do you like it?"
The movie was terrible.
So yeah, maybe we'll do a werewolf double feature. You know, we'll do werewolf next week, werewolf week after that.
Yeah, it's full moon. Why not?
This is a werewolf podcast now.
That was
wolfable.
That was wolfable. Everybody has a wolf inside them. Have you seen all the Oh, you're ending the episode.
On all levels except physical, I am a wolf.
Have you seen all the memes of the new Inside Out movie that have a wolf in them?
Yes, exactly. Like, here's the new emotion that they're adding for Inside Out 2, the sequel. It's the wolf.
All right. Well, on that note, I'm going to go become a wolf and hopefully get over this stupid cold.
It's happening.
Hey, stay spooky.